All right, so I've had some questions about how to do these activities on Voces. So I'm going to go ahead and do activity 12, and then I'll go ahead and do activity 13 after that. So these are all reflexive verbs, right? And I talked about how you did that last Thursday. If you did not take notes on Thursday, there's a whole bunch of slides and videos. You need to take notes because you especially need to know the reflexive pronouns before you try to conjugate these verbs, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do with the verb maquillarse is I'm going to take off the se, and then I'm going to put the reflexive pronoun that corresponds to Anita. That also happens to be se, because that's what you use for the él or ella form. And then I'm going to take the verb maquillar and conjugate that into the él or ella form, and it's just a simple AR verb. So, okay. For the next one, Roberto and Carlos, we want to say they wake up early. So the first thing I'm going to do is deal with the se, take it off, and figure out which reflexive pronoun I'm going to use with Roberto and Carlos. In this case, it's going to be se, right? And then I'm going to take despertar and I'm going to conjugate it into the ellos form. Well, this is an E to IE stem changing verb. And when you do this activity, you have got to look at your vocab sheet because it tells you if it's a stem changing verb. And this one is. So I'm going to write this as DES. And then instead of an E here, I'm going to write IE. And then it's an AR verb, so AN at the end. Se despiertan. Okay. You're going to have the same issue here. Actually, this is also a stem changing verb. So the first thing I'm going to do is deal with the se. And for the yo form, the reflexive pronoun is me. Okay. And then I'm going to take acostar, which is an O to UE stem changing verb, and I'm going to put it into the yo form. So instead of an O, UE, yo me acuesto a las 10. Okay. Which is acostarse is to go to bed. So. All right. For the next one, Angela. Rasurarse means to shave, so she shaves her legs twice a week. Again, I'm going to deal with the se. So I'm going to put the él or ella form of the reflexive pronoun, which in this case is se, right? Because it's me, te, se, nos, os, and se. And se is what you use for the él or ella form. And then I'm going to take rasurar, the rest of the verb, and I'm going to put it in the él or ella form, and it's an AR verb. So it's just that. Okay. All right, in this case, I'm going to need the tu form, and we have despertarse again, which is also, as we said before, it's an E to IE stem changing verb. So the first thing I need to deal with is a se. I need to use the tu reflexive pronoun, which is te. And then I'm going to take despertarse, and I'm going to make that stem change because it's a tu form, right? So, oops. All right, so E to IE, and then R, and then AS at the end because it's a tu form, and it's an AR verb, okay? All right, this one is actually, you have to know a couple of things. So it's hard to know what the subject is here unless you look at the first verb, which is voy. And voy is the yo form of ir. Remember, voy, vas, va, vamos, van. So I know this is going to be in the yo form, okay? This is actually something we did not discuss in class. So when you have a conjugated verb like voy, which means I'm going to, and then you're saying an activity that you're going to do, that second verb is never going to be conjugated. You're never going to have a conjugated verb followed immediately by another conjugated verb, right? So in this case, I'm not going to conjugate this. However, I still have to use the yo reflexive pronoun for this one. So that actually gets changed. Voy a lavarme, okay? This is not on the test. This is kind of a more advanced point that we didn't talk about yet in class because I didn't want to confuse you, but basically I didn't conjugate that second verb, I just changed the reflexive pronoun. All right, divertirse is an E to IE stem changing verb, okay? And I want the ustedes form. So the first thing I'm going to do is deal with the se, and the reflexive pronoun I use with ellos and ustedes is also se. And then I'm going to change that E to an IE, and then add the rest of the stem, and then it's an IR verb, so my ending for the ustedes would be, se divierten. And then nosotros form of vestirse. Well, if you look on your vocab sheet, you will see that vestirse is actually one of the few E to I stem changers. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to deal with is the reflexive pronoun. And then I'm going to deal with the verb vestir. It is an E to I stem changing verb. However, do you change the stem in the nosotros or the vosotros forms? No, right? So not going to change the stem. And then it's an IR verb, so IMOS. Okay? And that's it.